Who doesn't love a great surprise? As y'all know, here at Stone Coat, we renew all sorts of stuff with epoxy. My great friends have been out of town the past couple weeks. I snuck into their home and the bearded magical kitchen fairy strikes again. Y'all gotta check this out. What's up, folks? I'm Mitch with Stone Coat Countertops, and here on this channel we teach the DIYer how to use epoxy to renew and refinish their existing surfaces or build from new. Today we're in a customer's home. We're gonna rip these out because we're gonna build this cabinet up to the same plane. It's gonna totally improve this kitchen. My customer is out of town. They're gonna come home and be completely surprised with a brand new kitchen. Guys, let's get to work. We're gonna start demo right now. These countertops are ancient laminate. Typically, we would pour our epoxy right over the existing surface to avoid the demo and cost of new materials. This kitchen is also unique. The lower section left a little room for meal prep. We're bringing that L up to the same level as the sink run. That's going to instantly make this kitchen seem much bigger than it was before. A few key factors to pay attention to when beginning to demo your existing countertops: score with a utility knife any caulking paint line so you don't damage that wall. Remove any screws securing the countertops to the cabinetry. We're gonna fix these cabinets up. They've previously been repaired by the homeowner. We're gonna take a little bit of time to make that repair a little bit stronger before proceeding forward. Quickest way to get rid of liquid nails: oscillating, I like to call it a buzz tool. What do you call it? Let me know in the comments below. What do you call the buzz tool? Since we're bringing the peninsula up to the same height as the sink run, we're gonna beef up that previous repair with some wood glue, pin nails, and a few more 1x4s. I busted out my laser level to determine how tall I needed to make my new face frame. There's a right tool for every job, and the laser level is a DIYer's best friend. With the face frame cut to size, the next step is to use the Kreg pocket jig system to secure the new face frame to the existing cabinets. There's a DIY portable version of that Kreg jig. It costs a much less, and it's super handy. We glued and screwed the new face frame to bring the cabs up to the same level. Kreg jig, man, it's good stuff. I'll leave a link in the description below to all the tools and products used in this video. After securing the face frame, we're gonna hand sand with 220 any high points for a nice smooth paint job. Nice job there, buddy. That looks perfect. And you know you did it right with our level, because this is perfect. And this is what was sinking down on that laser. It's perfect to here. Bingo. That laser paid for itself in one job. They're gonna be so happy when they see this. Look at how much better it looks already. So much more usable space, and then we'll have bar stools over here. That fit normal small chairs on that side. All right, guys, it's time to template. You can pick up this template material over at stonecoatcountertops.com. It glues together with super glue, or a little bit of acetone will also fuse it together. Today I'm gonna use some super glue. I'm gonna do the perimeter of my kitchen. Why am I templating? Could I measure this? Yes, but I don't know how out this wall is. This house is an older home, so the walls, the framing, it's not so true. Most homes, even new homes, the framing's not true. So templating will save your butt in the long run. I'm gonna measure these two guys. Why? Because they're so small. I can scribe a little bit off the back of them. No big deal. I'm just gonna measure those. I'm templating my L. We're back at the shop. I have my templates. I put some tables together. We're gonna build our tops starting right now. We're building them out of wood. We'll put a drop edge on them, put a nice round over. Templates are on the table. Let's get to work. Best case scenario is you have your sink and sink template with you at template and fabrication. You can make sure that sink is gonna fit in the existing cabinet. I don't know about your area, but mine, folks are choosing farm animal stock tanks as sinks. These things are enormous, and the last thing you want to find out at install is that sink doesn't fit. Lay down your templates and mark the perimeter. Use a straight edge and then use a circular saw to quickly cut the MDF to size. It's time to seam my wood together before I put my epoxy over it for my countertops. There's a couple ways to do that. You have a dowel jig or you have a biscuit joiner. The dowel jig is a very easy to use, very inexpensive tool that you can grab at your local hardware store. You use a drill bit, you put your plug in, and you do that on both sides, add some glue, countertop seam is complete. Or you have the biscuit joiner. It's a more high-end tool, versus $30 versus probably $150. But this is gonna make quick work of it. If you're in production, you're doing this for a business, invest in your biscuit joiner. Let me know, what team are you on? Are you team dowel jig or team biscuit joiner? There's two camps. One says they do it the best. What team are you in? After marking and cutting either your biscuits or your dowels, we're going to mix up some quick coat to seam our MDF together. Most countertops like granite and laminate require a seam in your kitchen. That's a huge selling point with Stone Coat Epoxy. Seam your countertop together before pouring your color coat and you'll be installing a seamless kitchen. As a granite installer for many years, the first thing customers checked out when I was complete was the seam. They took their fingers and they started rubbing it across the seam. You're gonna love showing off to your neighbors your seamless kitchen countertops. We're making 3 separate tops. We have our main huge sink run out there drying with the quick coat. We got 2 more to make. I got my drop edges cut for that one. That one's complete. We're gonna wood glue, pin nail that together in just a few seconds. Right now we gotta make one final piece and then we'll rip our backsplash. This is a lot like prefabricated granite. 2 centimeter granite. They'll put a drop edge on that. We're about to put Bondo right here. Then we'll sand that smooth. We'll round over the top and bottom with an 1/8 inch round over bit. And then these things are gonna be ready for epoxy. We'll go back to the job site and I'll take probably 3-inch strips of MDF and I'll put buildup strips. Those go down and then we screw in from those buildup strips that are now secured to the cabinetry, and then that's how these are secured. So no glue's needed. You wanna remove these and recoat them. Refresh your kitchen in 4 or 5 years, have a totally brand new look. You could easily remove these, go coat them, put them right back in. Quick coat is dry, ready to sand. 3 hours later or so, I'm gonna sand this flat. We're gonna put the templates on top, trace them out, get our final countertop cut complete, and then we'll get our buildup strips. I have a 13-inch overhang right here, so I'm gonna have a large buildup strip, and then so that's nice and smooth under there, and we don't just have a little strip right there. The quick coat will be dry and ready to sand in about 3 hours. The next step is to cut your countertops to size as one piece. We'll use a circular saw. We're also gonna cut some drop edge strips. We'll use wood glue and some pin nails to secure that drop edge before cutting the countertop to size. Epoxy has become nearly as popular as laminate as a countertop solution in your kitchen. Following along to this video and building your countertops yourself, you're going to save more than 10 times your money versus going to the big box store for other countertop options and waiting weeks for a contractor to show up to your appointment, hours if not days late. Guys, we teach you how to do it step by step, and if that doesn't earn a subscribe, I don't know what does. All right, my standard setback for my undermount sink for, the 15 years I did this for a living is 4 inches. What you have to pay attention to is sometimes your sinks are friggin' way too big for the cabinet hole. This one is not that case. Sometimes to get into your sink cabinet, the cabinet doors are recessed back. That's what you got to pay attention to. If that bottom sink bowl hits that, you're not going to be able to bring your sink all the way close. So if your sink cabinets are straight, they're not recessed in, 4-inch setback will get you good to go for undermount sinks. For top mount sinks, I'm usually just centering that sink because the bowl's inside. You don't really have any risk of hitting any cabinetry. So I'm going to find the center point of my template. I have my sink center point marked from my on-site template. And then we just lay these out at 4, trace it, cut it out. We're going to round over this edge, and then we're applying the epoxy undercoat. We'll be pouring these in probably 5 hours from right now. Today, we're mixing up Stone Coat's Art Coat. What is Art Coat? It's the most UV stable epoxy designed for a countertop in the epoxy market, meaning your white and light countertop finishes are gonna stay white and light for many years, and there's no nasty smell and tons of time to work with it. So we're gonna go white metallic, white dye for this project. and like a tiny bit of black to marbleize it. The customer wants very little black and gray. So it's gonna be mostly whites. Whoa. So I'm gonna go kind of white dye, white metallic, white dye, white metallic, white dye, white metallic, and then I'm gonna smear it all together with my hands. And then I'm gonna add a little bit of black and marbleize that, remove the air, and this one's done. And I'll just start right here. My goal here was to try to recreate a subtle white marble. All I had to do was take 2 different shades of white epoxy and pour out blobs of colors on my project. I'll use my gloved hands to meld those colors together. No special tools needed here, folks. This stuff is so fun to work with. The epoxy does the hard work for you. As the material self-levels, the countertop's going to look very natural, meld together, and the 2 shades of white are gonna automatically look like a metallic marbleized Carrara marble, and we haven't even added the accent color. All right, let's meld this together. This is a really hard step. Just kind of using my fingertips. I want to meld these colors together, add some flow to it. Now I'm making sure all my edges are fully coated, because now I want my epoxy to flow over evenly. And then see, I'll bring some of this white over the white. Give it a flow. Make sure your edges are wet with epoxy, and after melding those base colors together, shoot, that alone could be a finished countertop by itself. The next step, we're gonna take a small amount of accent color, in this case black metallic, but you can use any color you want, and we're gonna use a paint stick to drizzle small amounts of color over the marbleized white metallic. And then I'm gonna use my gloved hands to marbleize and meld those colors together. This step is super easy and even more fun. Take your time with it. There's no need to be in a rush. You have tons of time to get this countertop to look just the way you want it. The working time with Art Coat is unmatched in the epoxy industry.
Guys, if the cameraman can do it, I think you can do this too.
You got this.
You got this. Hands.
I like how you could steer the angle real easily, right? Even if you poured it wrong or what you think is wrong.
You telling me I poured mine wrong?
No, not at all.
So, how am I doing for my first Carrara marble?
Fantastic.
Here.
How do you like the tools of choice?
Great, they were free. And they came with me. I'm gonna take my gloves off, guys, and I'm gonna show you a close-up. Let me know in the comments below, whose do you like better so far? This one's mine, I'll show you mine first. So number 1 is Luke, or number 2 is Mitch.
Yeah.
I say number 1 Luke because Luke number 1. So vote for me. I think I did better. But let me know in the comments below.
I love the flow we got going, dude. We're matching well. It's going right up the backsplashes. Those are gonna look epic. Heck yeah.
That is number 1 to Mitch. Oh boy, I think I like Mitch's better. Pro tip, guys, when you're doing anything with epoxy, make sure you're wearing the correct clothing. And if you have long hair, your hair is up.
Yes.
Jewelry, it's not hanging into your pieces. Or don't wear flip-flops when you're using it and doing this stuff either. Your toe hairs will not appreciate it.
Yeah. Guys, countertop technique is complete. Our tool of choice, our gloved hands, was a perfect tool to choose. We're gonna let these cure. I'll be back tomorrow to apply our final step, the ultimate top coat. It's the final step in our epoxy countertop system. I'll let these cure. I'll be back tomorrow. Man, they look good, dude. Good work, Luke. Appreciate you, man.
Thank you.
Great job. These look sweet. I'm here to do the ultimate top coat, our final step. And what I'm doing here is just sanding with 220 grit by hand. I'm knocking down any high points that there might be. This would be a good time to eliminate any bugs in your piece that may have landed. I don't see any bugs or any high spots on this. This project turned out really well. And part of that success was me turning the AC off and killing all my lights as this cured. Let's clean off the dust and let's mix up some top coat. Yabba dabba, don't judge me for wearing flip-flops. I'm in here on a Saturday working. Applying the top coat is very different than working with epoxy. We're going to apply it with a wet roller, a nice even coat, then remove excess material using a dry roller. Have 3 dry rollers prepped per about 40 square feet of countertop. We're going to remove material with pressure on the elbow of the roller, and then we're going to let that dry. Don't over dry roll for best results. The ultimate top coat is the final step in our epoxy countertop system, bringing the durability and stain resistance to maximum, and in my opinion, the countertop more realistic. I'll leave a link in the description below if you're interested in a more high-level, super step-by-step ultimate top coat tutorial. Check out the description below. Time to remove my epoxy drips. I poured this late on a Friday and I didn't want to stick around and deal with my drips. So I flipped my piece. I've got 220 grit sandpaper on my sander. I'm gonna buzz these down. I'm gonna keep the epoxy coating real thin right here by my sink. That's just another layer of protection. And then I'm gonna apply the Ardex waterproofing membrane to this whole section, and then I'll paint that white. So the Ardex is complete. You just put this plastic thing back in, push it down nice and even, get the air out, and this jug will last you so many jobs. There's no need to waterproof membrane the entire project. You're not gonna have moisture hitting this piece over here. So this is exposed to knees. So instead of being raw wood, I'm gonna make that into white. I'll just paint that white with my undercoat. We developed our epoxy undercoat in white and black to dry and off gas quickly. No need to wait 24 hours for your paint and primer in one that you picked up at the hardware store to dry. Get to pouring that epoxy within 4 to 6 hours after applying the second coat. The S1K is dried. I got the underside painted white. We're gonna pack these things up in the trailer and hit the road. We're going on site to install these. I ripped some buildup strips. We'll go hook those down to the cabinets. Then we're setting tops and going through my buildup strips with some screws to attach our project down to the cabinetry. No glue is needed to secure these down to the cabinets. If you ever want to rip them out and redo them, just pull a couple screws out and they're out of the way. Folks, I want to make sure that this video is helping you gain confidence in renewing your kitchen with epoxy. Let me know if this video helps, and if you have any questions, I got your back. All right, the buildup strips are almost complete. Those are 3 inches. I'm pin nailing them into my face frame of my cabinetry. Where I make them narrow is my sink. I have an undermount sink. I have a 4-inch setback. You don't want your buildup strip sticking into your sinkhole where you have to cut that after you place your piece. So I usually just cover 1 inch or 2 on the back, and then I go just the thickness of my face frame on the front where my sinkhole is. Everywhere else, 3-inch buildup strips. We're gonna secure those down to the cabinets. We're gonna bring our countertops in, and then I'll have this whole area here to tack in my countertop from below with 1¼ inch screws. The biggest pro tip to follow: do not secure your countertop with screws that will go all the way through your countertop and poke through and make a sharp volcano. Please don't do that. When you have 3/4 inch material buildup, your MDF is 3/4 inch and 1/4. Even if you sink that head, it's not gonna poke through. All right, next step, we're nice and level, everything's looking good. I'm gonna use 1¼ inch screws and screw my project down to those buildup strips I just installed. This step is super simple, especially if you fit into cabinets easier than I do. I was sent to this planet with special skills, one of them being not fitting into cabinets, carrying an entire island. Yes, I'm your man. It's best practice to put your sink in the hole before you bring in your countertop.
Why is that?
Because sometimes you can't fit your sink in like I just did. I've had to remove a sink run on granite. Okay, I put my sink in like that. Then that gives me an area to caulk it. Be able to put my silicone on there, then pull it up. I'm gonna dry fit it though right now.
Look at
Bingo.
that. Look at that.
We're getting ready to glue in the undermount sink. I use 100% silicone around my sink edge. I'll put a nice heavy bead on the outside perimeter of my sink lip. I have a clamp and a 2x4. I run the 2x4 across my surface, and I'll use the clamp to hold that sink nice and tight as I add my support boards. Now we're glued and we're structurally sound. It's screwed into the front and back of the cabinet. the sink will not go anywhere. I'll leave the clamp set, and I'm gonna use this guy pushing up on the bottom of my sink. This is for setting uppers. You remember how bad that wall was during template? Well, I gotta fix that right now with a piece of wood. I'm gonna clamp it to my countertop, pushing that backsplash that's sticking way off the wall nice and tight. That silicone will dry, then that piece is gonna stay there. You're never gonna know how bad that wall was. Best practices and a pro tip on your undermount sinks: let those dry overnight. Let that silicone dry overnight before you start drilling and putting tail pieces and stuff on your sink, because that sink will shift and move a little bit while that glue's wet. So that's a pro tip. We're back, it's the next day. I'm gonna drill out my faucet holes. I'll do my beauty bead, which, you know, my sink has a big fat bead of silicone, so it is sealed and no water's getting in there. A beauty bead is this little line you can see. So I'll tape that off and make sure that that has no shadow. It looks really sharp. We're gonna drill our holes out. We got a sink, we got a soap, and we have an Insta-Hot. So I'll get that all wrapped up. Then we're caulking out the backsplash. Project will be complete. Pro tip when laying out your sink holes: you wanna make sure you're far enough back so you don't drill through that undermount sink lip. So I went under there, I measured it, I made sure when I punched through my holes, I wouldn't hit the sink lip. And if you do, not a big deal, but you're gonna need like a masonry or a diamond coated bit at that point to buzz through that metal. Like we had to do that all the time in granite, because sometimes, like our granite backsplash was as thick as the countertop, so that left tight room right here. So that's a pro tip. Measure that sink lip under there. That's really gonna determine where you put your sink holes. All right, a little waterproofing membrane. Best practice, guys, put them in your holes. You know, the faucets usually have rubber seals that make them watertight, but this makes me sleep better at night, knowing I have a nice membrane of waterproofness.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. Oh man, I love this sink. Look at that.
The flowers.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I love it. Oh my goodness. It looks so high. Right.
I know
It's so like normal level. This looks exactly like what I asked for.
Yes.
Like he is the master. I have a real counter.
Yeah, finally.
You know what? I'm too happy to cry. I mean, I could cry happy tears, but I'm just so grateful. This is amazing.
Yes, right.
This is what I asked him to do.
Now
Look
it
at that.
blends in
That's
perfectly.
exactly
Is
right.
exactly. So I mean, this is real marble.
What a mess.
This is stone coat.
Yeah. What is
This is amazing.
My customer was very unhappy. Before, this peninsula was down here. There was no way you could prep that without blowing out your back. This was the only prep area in the entire kitchen. So we raised these cabinets up and brought this up as the same plane. And this kitchen feels enormous from the first time we were in here. We did a super simple Carrara marble recipe using only 3 additives and my gloved hands: white dye, white metallic, and a touch of black metallic. The ultimate top coat really brings the realism to life on top of these countertops. White Carrara marble looks fantastic with the matte finish of the ultimate top coat. That's a wrap, folks. The bearded magical kitchen fairy strikes again. I hope you gained some confidence and learned some tips and tricks to try this out in your space. I'm off to my next victim. And until next time, from Stone Coat Countertops, you got this. And we'll see you on the next video.